Okay. All right. So we're live on all the sites, ready to rock and roll. We keep adding to the format, and so each step is a new step, and so it's really cool to watch the growth of this thing. And that's why again I'm so excited to have you guys on and be our first interview. So very excited. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode. We've made it. We've done a month of episodes for the Fanatic Sports Podcast, and this one is a huge, humongous, enormous. Starting with number 4, and we've got so much planned going forward, including the most important thing, our new theme song. Welcome to the Fanatic Sports Podcast. That's it. The new Fanatic Sports theme song. And that's brought to you by, I got to get his name right. One of our awesome sponsors. That's Arson with the Heat. Check him out. Check him out on all the social media platforms. Arson with the Heat. So today's a big day. If you're new here, obviously you are in for a treat. My name is Blocka. I'm excited to talk about a lot of things, all things sports, but most importantly, today we get to talk about the sweet science. That is boxing. So going into this, I'll say I love MMA. I think it's great. One of the cool things about MMA, I worked with a lot of MMA performers and people who got into the business. And so one of the fantastic things about MMA is that it is a flip of the switch sort of thing. You can be in, beating or pounding or club punching or whatever and thinking you're finishing your opponent off, and one short slip and you're into a triangle hold, and you can't do anything but tap you, or you passed out or what have you. MMA is very topsy-turvy that way. But I'm still kind of old school in how I love the sweet science of boxing. You got 6 tools to work with. And well, a couple more if you're a veteran, you can sneak away with it. But you got 6 tools. You got a straight, you got a jab, you got your left and right hook, and your left and right uppercut. And you got to make them work. That's all you got. So, the thing, and the best part about it is, boxing has always been at its best when the heavyweight division is at the top of its game. So today we've got a heavyweight champion. The man's got belts, but I want to give him his proper introduction. But before that, we definitely have to say hello to our good friend, Miss Carol Roberts. Let me welcome her to the stage now. Miss Carol Roberts, welcome here from Blueline Health. Hello, Miss Carol. How are you today?
Hi there. I am doing well.
Awesome. Well, we're certainly happy to have you here. And so I got to know about all the awesome things you're doing with Blueline Health, all from one simple post you made about this awesome muscle man of God, I should mention, that is about to join us now. So without further ado, the 10-time undefeated. So this man has had his hands raised 10 times, and he's never let his opponent's hand get raised. The ABO, Kansas and Missouri state champion, heavyweight champion, John Iron Man Cantrell. It's a pleasure to have you here, Mr. John. I'm going to say Mr. because the first thing I noticed, so I was working on a little highlight reel for you, and we'll get to that because I spent way too much time and I stayed up too late putting it together. So I definitely got to make sure I show it. But in watching your fights, and we messaged about checking out some of your fights. The first thing I noticed was that, man, they don't last long. Those fights don't go long. they are. I think the longest one I saw was 24 minutes, and I think that's because most of it was the celebration for the belt. Man, you are quick with you are an efficient worker.
I get lucky sometimes.
That's one way to put it. Well, so a fun thing, I actually did learn some boxing, and this is why boxing is very exciting for me. I learned our conditioning was inside of boxing, and so I learned all about the basics of it. And one of the things they said is that there's no such thing as a lucky punch. Luck is when opportunity meets preparation. And so if you get lucky, then you've been lucky 10 times. I can guarantee it, man. But we're super excited to have you. I normally have my cohort here, and he is here right on time. You are like magic. The angry Puerto Rican, Anthony Roman. So look, man, we were excited once we got the opportunity to lock in with you, John, because your story is a very unique one. So we want to take some time to talk with you and talk with Miss Carol. And I think my first question is going to be for Miss Carol. And it's kind of basic. So tell me a little bit about Blueline Health and how you got started with it.
Absolutely. I am honored to be here and honored to be on this podcast with John, my good friend John. So basically, as I mentioned to you before, sometimes tragedy or scary things fuel your passion. So about 5 years ago, one of our children, I have 7 children.
Okay.
Our oldest, who is an adult, was diagnosed with something that you just don't ever want to hear about your child or yourself or anybody else that you know or love. And it was through that journey and a friend sharing this technology with me that I learned about this whole concept of activating on a cellular level.
Okay.
About the same time, my mom was diagnosed with cognitive decline, which may or may not run in my family. And so it just set me on a journey of research and learning. And over the past 5 years, it's just been a journey of learning things, how the body works, the potential of flipping those genetic switches and really optimizing health. And so it has many, many applications for sure.
So, and the amazing thing about the body, the science behind it, which is beautiful to me, is that God created us to heal ourselves. So your body is automatically going to start doing what it's supposed to do. It starts with the blood that runs to it. You cut yourself, the blood immediately goes to that wound and starts trying to close it up. It's really a beautiful thing in what it does. It's ironic we talk about the sweet science of boxing that falls right in line with the science of your body as well. And so it's really, really amazing that you two have linked up and that you guys crossed our path this way. So John, this one's for you, man. Tell me about how you got into boxing and into MMA combat.
So I got really heavy while I was in federal. So between graduating college and federal prison was an 18-month period.
Okay.
I had horrible alcoholism and drug addiction, and that led me down some really, really bumpy roads. I gave my life to Christ, and right before I went into federal prison, and
Amen.
and changed my life. It changed everything about me. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. The U.S. Marshals didn't arrest me; they rescued me from myself.
That's a bar, man. That's awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah. So I went down, man, and God started putting the right people in my life. I was praying for understanding and discernment to learn more about Him, and God started putting people in my life to help me. And it was a period while I was in there where I got this incredible opportunity to work on myself and my character defects and really become the person that I wanted to be without any outside interruption. You know, I didn't
Okay.
have the temptations of life or anything else around me. So I was able to really capitalize on the time that I spent to become the person that God wanted me to be, man. You know, the two most important days of your life are the day that you're born and the day that you figure out why.
That's
So
good.
so I started to understand what God wanted me to do in my purpose. So I read this book called Spartan Up about a guy that did ultra endurance racing. And
Okay.
I found that if I surrounded myself with people that had the qualities that I wanted, right? If I want more God in my life, right, I'm going to surround myself with people that have a lot of God in their life. You know,
Yeah.
if I want to excel in business ownership and entrepreneurship, you know, I surround myself with business owners. Well, I wanted to get healthy, man. I wanted to be lean and fit and mean, and you know, I wanted to look good when I got out. I had Miss Wright waiting for me when I got home, so I didn't know it yet, but
Yeah.
God put her in my life, and we'll have been married 7 years next month.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome.
Congratulations. Man.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I started training for an Ironman competition. The idea was when I got home, I was going to be lean and fit, and I was going to go do an Ironman race, Ironman Austin 70.3. Well, I get engaged to Mrs. Wonderful, Miss Taylor Cantrell, my beautiful wife, whom I would be nothing without, and I had to make a decision whether I was going to go run this race or if we had an outdoor wedding, and it rained on our wedding and bumped the wedding into the race, and I had to choose whether I was going to go run the race or do our wedding, and I chose right. So we
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
married.
Good idea.
Yeah, and I had to basically burn the ticket. And man, when I got home, I didn't have anything. I had no money, and that ticket to go do that Ironman was expensive. You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
it,
They
it
are.
required a lot of, yeah, man, and like the bike and the time to run and swim and do everything like that. And one of my buddies invited me up to his fight gym. You know, he saw I'd made a post on Facebook that I wasn't able to do it, and he invited me up. And man, I fell in love with it. 90 days later, I had my first fight.
Wow. Wow.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, that's where the nickname Iron Man comes from. So it was a joke
Uh-huh.
starting out.
Okay.
I
Okay.
everybody would
It
tease me.
fits,
I'd be in
man.
there, yeah, I'd be in there sparring, and they'd be like, "Come on, Iron Man, you can run 20 miles, but you can't spar for 45 seconds."
And you know what, man? Bernie Mac has a really great joke about endurance, and he talks about a 3 round, a 1 round heavyweight fight, 3 minutes. And you know, like I said, my time working around the ring, having to go and keep going and I think that's the thing I saw in your fight the most is how you wear people down. And ironically, it doesn't take that
Sandpaper.
long. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it's a bruising style of fighting, and it's fun to watch. But when I saw it, as I had to go back and watch again, I could see where okay, oh, he's tired. And then wow, here comes that overhand right. And after that, it was just it was just putting in the rest of the work from that point, man. That's a wonderful, wonderful way to look at it as the Iron Man.
Amen. Yeah, no, you talked about the 6 tools you have for boxing. Man, I've really learned the key to winning fights simply comes down to this. I just have to have gas in my tank when yours runs out.
I love that, man. I love that, man.
No, that's an incredible. Your story is really incredible. Just by when Blanca hit me up and told me that you were going to be on here, I was like, man, we all love boxing. I'm a huge Oscar De La Hoya fan. And we were talking last night. We talked all day about this. We are super excited to have you on because I think your story is very inspirational. So I have a question for you. How have you used your platform to inspire others to be great at what they set out to do?
So I retired from boxing so I had one pro boxing fight and one pro MMA fight. I just wanted to go pro to say that I did it once. And then I started focusing on my professional career. You know, my career had really taken off. I was doing really well for the company I'd worked for, and I wanted to start a family. So God blessed us with and my wife got pregnant, and we had a perfect pregnancy. Everything was perfect. We went in for a scheduled induction, and there were massive problems that we had no idea about. And my son was stillborn.
Oh,
And it took him 12 minutes to revive him. And I was on for 12 minutes. I was on my hands and my knees in the OR at Stormont Vale NICU while they tried to revive my kid. And I had my face smashed to the floor as hard as I possibly could to humble myself as much as I could before God. And I said, God, I don't care what it's like. I don't care what his life is like. I don't care what he can do. I'll devote the rest of my life to serving you. Just don't let me go home with an empty car seat. And partner, like Lazarus from the dead, Jesus Christ rose my son from the dead.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He lost 50% of his brain at birth. They said he would never walk. He had to go through the head cooling treatment, where they lower your body temperature to try to preserve your organs and your brain, because he was having an hour-long seizure every 3 hours. And I mean, he was dead. He was dead on paper for 3 days. But I knew that my son was going to have a difficult life, and I knew that it wasn't going to be easy for him. And I thought to myself, John, how can you, who dreamt of being a professional fighter and seeing how far you could go and seeing if you really had what it took, how can you tell your son that he can accomplish anything in life if he just works hard and puts his mind to it, and leans into God, if you can't do that yourself? So at 315 pounds, I walked into a gym, and my coach, Damon Reed, who previously not wanted to work with me because he only works with champions, he heard my story, and he saw the drive that I had, and he cut 115 pounds off me in 5.5 months. And we have used this. The whole thing has been just turning this platform into a way to shine a light on Christ and what he can do in people's lives if they trust him.
That's
You know,
fantastic, man.
Wow.
So it's been just an opportunity for me to talk about, my son and being a special needs parent, and talk about, addiction and recovery, which I've struggled with, my whole life until, about 5 years. In a month, I will have my 35th birthday, my 5 years of sobriety, and 10 days after that, my 7th wedding anniversary. So September is a big month for us.
Wow.
But yeah, man,
Wow.
it's since I've chosen to let God lead my life, and I've gotten out of the way, man, days aren't always perfect, and it's not there's no fairy tale where life is perfect after you give your life, but I always know where to lean when I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I always know who to lean on. And I always know that no matter what, God's got my back, and he has never, ever failed me once or let me down.
You're not wrong, my friend. And that's a beautiful segue, man, because it's one of those things where lately I've been in the same boat, and that's kind of what spurred the need for us to get into this podcast more, is because someone asked the same thing. What are you doing with your voice? And so for me, this is kind of my way. I love sports. I love the opportunity to get to do it, but to get to have a platform and get to do more than just talk about sports is very, very cool. And it's awesome to get to help people. I could go on about me for days.
Look, I can, I'm the same way, Blocker. Just sitting here, just thinking about it. It's like, every athlete has a story, and I don't think a lot of people realize that they're human beings as well. They just, I think a lot of people see them as celebrities. I see them as ordinary people that were just, given a gift to be able to entertain and do things, that they put their mind to. So your story is huge, huge, huge. To me, man, just hearing that, man, wow, you almost made me cry too, man. So that's just incredible, man.
It's very courageous that you get to tell that story. And I'll be fully transparent in talking with Miss Carol and discussing what we would talk about. Anthony said immediately, hey man, I want to talk about his addiction. And so my next question was, hey, is that going to be okay with him? Are you comfortable? Some folks are not. And one of the things my mom always told me, and it turns out the older I get, the smarter she apparently has been. But as it turns out,
I know the feeling.
so as it turns out, she said, Joe, you're meant for more than what you thought, right? So I always just thought I was going to be some superstar NFL player, and I don't even know how that was going to be. I'm not very fast. I was a
That's
decent
all right. I'm not that
lineman,
good of a boxer either.
I got 10 reasons to disbelieve you, but she said, Joe, you got a story to tell. And the deal is that you've got to be able to, you got to be comfortable to tell your story. And, you know, I spent a lot of time, you know, trying to make things right and make things perfect. And the cool thing is that we're not perfect. You know, just, you know, to dive off a little bit, the church I go to now, I'm so thankful that I go to a church with a pastor who's not perfect. He's had his faults. You know, the people in the church have, like, that's always been my biggest struggle is, man, like, dude, I can't tell people about my faith, or I can't tell people about whatever, because it's not perfect. It's not right. You know, there's so many questions that you got to ask, and, you know, it gets uncomfortable, but that's life, you know. And the good thing is that you get to tell there's a happy ending to your story, you know, so far, and there's so much more happy ending headed your way, and it's great that you get to share this all right now. But I want to rewind back just a little bit to something Anthony said about how athletes are human, right? Our bodies all break down. Unfortunately, they all betray us. You're 35, I'm 39, and these knees feel 60. And so,
I know the feeling.
yeah. So, man, I know the body will betray you, but as Carol said earlier, about how activation allows your body to take a step back. And that's a very cool thing. Carol, can you share about some will want to be part of and see?
So you broke just a little bit on my end. It might be my internet on this end, but
No, you're clear, Carol. I think it's yours,
Okay.
Block.
All right, yeah, it may be actually the door in my dog's room got closed, and so they're upset. But I was asking if there are products or things that that Blueline Health offers that are great for athletes, and if there's a lot of athletes that are going to see this. If this is a great time for you to mention any of the ones that you think that they should see.
We got a bunch, don't you,
Yeah.
Carol? Carol keeps me stocked
Absolutely.
up on some very, very good products.
Good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So basically, I'm just going to put this out there. Yes, this is good for athletics. It's good for athletes, professional, non-professional, but it is good for humans. What the products that we have are good for every mammal. You guys are going to laugh. I have a dog that's on the product, and I have a rabbit that's on one of the products.
Wow.
Just saying.
Did you say you said a rabbit?
I
A
do.
rabbit and a dog. That's awesome. That's
Everybody's
awesome.
like, I got a little super bunny. Yeah, so essentially, as we were talking about before, one of the theories of aging, you were talking about how your body betrays you. I had just entered my 5th decade of life when these products came into my life, and I have been a runner, and during some seasons I overdid it. That causes wear and tear even faster on your body. So for me, I was definitely feeling that. At this point, I was only 51, but I felt like I was 80.
Oh,
You know that feeling.
no,
And
feeling
so,
well. Yes, ma'am.
yep. So for me, when I first started taking some, we call them activators because they're different than supplements. They don't add to, although there is a time and place for supplementation, but these activators don't add to. They flip those switches in your body to make your body do what it did before. So
Okay.
what that looks like for athletes, better endurance, less stress on the body, faster recovery, faster muscle building, better mental clarity and focus, which I'm sure we will talk about at some point. But that
Yeah.
was one of the things that I really wanted for John, was that focus, so that
Yeah.
you see those things coming at you.
Yeah.
But the basic premise of one of the theories of aging is the oxidation of the cell. And that's true for every human being, every mammal. Oxygen is great. It's what keeps us alive, but it's also what kills us. And our bodies are assaulted like no other time in history at this point. You know, between the food we eat and the water we drink, the air we breathe, the devices that we're on constantly, we are just assaulted at every turn. And so basically, the very first product, what it does is it acts as a master antioxidant,
Okay.
and it gets your body to make its own antioxidants again. You know, we're all familiar with blueberries and dark chocolate and broccoli and oranges and all the things. This concept is basically the analogy of, instead of having a house fire and taking a Dixie cup and throwing that one at a time, which is what supplements do,
Okay.
this is like a whole house fire suppression.
Okay. Wow.
Okay?
That's a great way to look at it. That's good imagery.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So I do have a question. So for both of you, how have you guys inspired each other to continue, to you guys have been, with each other for, I think you said, John, 5-6 years?
Carol, when did we start? When did we partner up? When did you start? So Carol saw Cooper's story, and she thought she had some products that could help out with Cooper. And then I told her about some of the stuff that I was struggling with, because after 30, you just don't heal as fast as you did when you were
Oh
20.
no.
Absolutely
You
right.
just don't.
Absolutely.
I'm taking 39-degree ice baths to try to get rid of inflammation so that I can go do another workout. So Carol put these products in front of me, and sorry, Carol, I'm not gonna lie, I was skeptical at first. I'm on like the high level multivitamins. Like, my diet is regimented out to, I know every gram, I know how many grams of carbohydrates, how many grams of protein. Like, my diet's on
Yeah.
point.
Very specific.
And right. And the science behind it isn't really out there.
Yeah.
So but I was like, you know what? This is one of the nicest, most endearing, kind-hearted people I've ever met in my entire life, and she has a passion for the Lord, and she has a passion for her community and for everything else. I'm like, I'm gonna give this a try. And man, I took a before and after picture. Carol's is even better than mine. But I did 90 days on the Axio Pro Tandem. Pro Tandem is beautiful.
Okay.
And the liquid collagen.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, the results that I had in anti-aging, in like speed of recovery, and just overall wellness, man. Like, okay, you're a racehorse in the Kentucky Derby, right? You're
Yeah.
not out there eating, dude. The fuel you put in your body determines the performance that you're going to have. And all of a
Absolutely.
sudden, and this isn't going to sound like a lot to you guys, but for athletes, it's massive.
Yeah.
I saw a 1, 2, 3% increase in performance.
Yeah. That's
And like at
huge. Yeah.
my level, that is massive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's huge.
Massive. You
That-
know, I noticed that my endurance, like, I was able to keep my punching volume up further into the rounds, right?
yeah.
I was able to carry that volume into later rounds. And
Yeah.
it may not look like it from my record, because I got a lot of early knockouts.
Yeah.
But like, I'm a distance fighter, man. I'm a
Yeah.
gas tank fighter. My job is to, I don't have to be a better boxer than you. I don't have to have more, whatever than you. I just have to have gas in the tank.
Yeah.
And yours runs.
Yeah. I love that,
And
man.
all of a sudden, dude, my gas tank, I added 3% to the volume of my gas tank.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
think about it from a standpoint. If even if it's if you're thinking about, you say gas tank, you think about I've got a 16-gallon tank, right? So
Right.
3% to that is like it's only like an extra gallon or two, but that extra gallon is, or 2 gallons is 40 extra miles.
Right, man.
So, you know, if we can get that, if we can get that extra, that 3% is huge. That's
Huge.
fantastic. And kind of
Huge.
the cool thing about this conversation is some of the questions that I had written down to talk to you about, you guys are answered.
Good.
This is great. So I guess the last thing I have, because and I won't take much more time, is, you know, I want to talk about what you do in the ring. It's as special, almost as special as what you do outside of it, man. I didn't get to show you this highlight beforehand, but man, when I tell you this guy is, first of all, that overhand right, it's something. So
You know what's funny is that's not even my punch.
Yeah. So I took this one and I actually threw this one in here because the story behind it is fantastic, right?
Such a brutal fight.
Yeah. So here's the story. And
yeah, there's that overhand right.
Yeah, trust me. He's got a lot of punches that he throws, but the one that really got me excited was the overhand. So, but here's the story. So his opponent gets a flash knockout. He gets a quick one on him. And I think he stunned him with like a straight or something like that. Puts him on the ground.
He cracked me with a left hook in the first round.
Yeah. Normally the first round for anybody that's not familiar with boxing, normally the first round is the feeling out. Like, let me see how quick you really are, because we can spar all day, right? And you can spar with people the same size or the same speed, but even if you're friends with the person, you don't spar with them during the fight, right? So the key here.
Hold on, Block. You're cutting out, brother.
Can you hear me?
Can't hear you, brother.
Can you hear me?
Better.
Can't hear you, but you're still stuck in a loop with your like. There we go. You're moving now.
So tell us more about it from your perspective of this flash knockdown, and you got to get back up. So tell us more about it as you're gonna have the best than I am.
Oh man, so you know, I would come in and you know we got a tough opponent. He's 6-1, 7-1. At the time, I was 6-0 or 7-0. I mean, we were really close. And dude's tough, and he's got a boxing gym, and you know we. But I'm pretty confident going in because I've trained really hard for this fight. So we get in there, man, and I'm doing the feeling out round. You know, I'm kind of taking my time, finding my range. You know, working on my distance. And man, he comes out like he's shot out of a cannon. And he is on me like white on rice. And this dude is just beating on me. And I'm like, okay, you want to turn up? Let's turn up. Let's do the gas tank. You want to pour everything out in the first round? Okay. And and he caught me, and everything went black. And the next thing I know, I'm sitting on the ground and I'm looking around, and there's all these people in suits standing around me, and I'm like, where the heck am I? And I realized that I'm in a boxing ring and I'm fighting. And you know, dude, this kind of sounds crazy, but man, dude, it's in moments like that you really find out who you are.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because, dude, I could have sat there, I could have got my paycheck, I could have cashed it, I could have said, you know what, I went 7-1, it was a great run, but I'm good. And dude, I just made the decision right then and there, like, dude, you're gonna have to kill me if you want to beat me.
Yeah, I love that.
And dude, I heard God telling me, get up, we're not done. Get up.
That's a message right there, man.
You know, dude, and I made the decision right then and there, like, man, I'm never gonna let off, dude. If you want it, you're gonna have to take it.
Yeah.
And come get it. Molon Lob. Come on. So I got up, man, and for the next 6 rounds, me and Reyes just beat the crap out of each other, man.
Holy
Because, dude, he
smoke.
has when you put a gas tank with a gas tank, like you
Yeah.
get an
Yeah.
explosive fight. And like he was hitting me and rocking me, and then I'd hit him and rock him. And I really the further into the fight we went, the I started getting the better of him. And
Okay.
in the 6th round, he ran out of gas, and I
Yeah.
didn't.
That,
And I got him
so
into the ropes, and I just started hitting him and hitting him. And he was so tired he couldn't hold his hands up to block. So I just that really shows you what a role like mental toughness and grit and
Yeah.
discipline and just refusing to lose and refusing to back down. I'm the first person. If somebody gets the better of me, kudos, man. I pray that happens. There's some kids in my city and surroundings that are coming up behind me that are pretty darn close to getting the better of me now. And I look forward to the day that I get to pass the keys to them and be in their corner and try to help them get to their greatest heights in whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
But man, nothing that comes easy is worth having.
Amen.
If Mario Munoz would have just handed me the Kansas heavyweight title when this all started off, it wouldn't have meant anything to me. But he
Absolutely.
made me fight and fight and fight and fight, and he never quit coming at me, and he never quit backing up, and it didn't matter how hard I'd hit him, he'd smile at me and keep coming. And you
Oh
know
my
what?
gosh.
When they come to get that strap off of me, you're gonna have to take it.
Yeah. I
That's
love
I like
that,
that.
man. I love
And
that,
I
man.
can't, and I hope they get me.
Yeah.
It's never been about winning or losing, man. This is about promoting God on my platform.
Yeah. It's
This is
beautiful,
about
man.
reflecting. My job is to reflect the light of Christ to as many people as I possibly can. And win, lose, or
Amen.
draw, all praise, all honor, and all glory to God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen,
Amen.
bro.
You guys, I just want to throw in there because we do live in the same community. We do live in the same city. And I know that John is super humble. He probably would never say this, but he is so influential in our youth. He is mentoring and teaching our kids. He is very active in our business community. He is an advocate for people. And when he says it's all about the glory of God, he is not messing around.
That's awesome.
And it
That's
is awesome.
fantastic. That's fantastic. And listen, man, kudos to you again. And I'll say it until I'm blue in the face, man, that I can't thank y'all enough for joining us. 2 more questions, and then I'll get out of your hair. So as you can see, I am a Royals fan. So tell me a little bit about the
Well, number one, they were doing really, really well. I'm so proud of our boys, both the Royals and the Chiefs. I think the Royals, Carol, we need to talk to the Royals about getting them on some pro tandem.
We sure do.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot because they're
Let's go.
running down. And so it's one of those things where I just saw it the other day. So we lost another one, and it feels exactly the same. It's down to the last bit of it. I know it's 25 games in September. I think we got maybe 15, 20 to go, and it'd be great if we could go on one of those runs. But and so the funny thing is, the New Yorker over here is a Mets fan, and he did say he said, Joe, I don't know if the Royals are gonna do it, and I was like, man, I know, because we were in the middle of like a 12 win run, and it was nice and hot, and we're kind of running out of steam. And as you're pulling up, the Chiefs, 2-time defending champions,
About to be 3.
I
In
want
what
to
world?
argue with you.
Can Little Wayne come in and give us a 3-peat? Can we get a 3-peat, ladies and gentlemen?
Only if Taylor's at every game.
Yeah.
She'll be there. Actually, I don't know if she will. I hope she is.
I think the allure of Taylor at the games has run out for a lot of us. But it's really cool to see it. I will say this. So I'm a Steelers fan. So and we had our time before Patrick Mahomes where we'd somehow beat the Chiefs. They were always better than us, but we beat them. And so now we are that time has gone, and it's kind of I'm learning to appreciate greatness where it's at. And so what Mahomes is doing and what Andy Reid and those guys are doing is super impressive. I don't know if they're gonna win 3. I don't know who's gonna beat them. Oh, I'm pointing the wrong way. There it is. I feel like somebody's gonna be
Blocker, I'm not gonna lie, that is so diabolical, man.
I owe $1 for being a homer. Actually, I owe $2 for being a homer. We've got a homer jar going. I'm a homer. So I'm from Northwest Arkansas, and so our AA team is there, and that's how I became a Royals fan.
Is that Springdale, Rogers area?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hey, man, you know, my partner, Kinsey Morrison, Tommy Morrison's son, lives there. He's getting ready to fight for a huge title against Mike Balagan at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
We saw that. And so look, man, you sparked it. You sparked some good conversation in boxing for us as a whole. There's a radio station director that's up in Northwest Arkansas. So now I live in Louisiana, and Anthony's still up in Northwest Arkansas, and there's a radio station director who loves boxing. So we're gonna definitely have to get you back and grab you a time, or at least get a time to come down to Northwest Arkansas and meet with old Noso. He loves the sweet science as well, man. So
and I'd love to. I'd be honored.
That well, we're looking forward to it. So I promised Miss Carol she was gonna wrap us up here, talking about Blueline Health. So take your time as much as you need. Give us all the information we need to get in touch with you and get activated, as you say. I'm very excited about this.
Absolutely. Well, and there's the logo. John, actually, we have partnered together a little bit with this business page. And so it's relatively new, even though I've been around this for a while. So we're rolling out more information here and there. One of the things that, as we were talking about that liquid collagen, it came on the scene about 2 years ago, and it has been a game changer for so many people, whether you're an athlete or not. But we're getting really, really excited because we are rolling out a weight loss product. And one of the things that I love about the company that I work with, that produces the products, is everything is all natural. It's all clean. It is all just top shelf. It is top of the line. And, there are a lot of people that are struggling with weight. And so in October, the company is rolling out this natural weight loss activator. And I know with, weight being an issue for so many of us, whether you're struggling to lose, struggling to gain, struggling to maintain, it is, 80 some percent of even Americans just would say, yes, I struggle with that. So we're getting really excited about that. We're kind of in that pre-launch state right now. And so we're rolling out a little bit of information about that as well. But basically, yes, go to that Blueline Health page, and there's an email there, a message anytime. Try to get back to you as quickly as possible. We're about changing the world, and I know that John's part is to change the world for Jesus, which we share that passion.
Yeah.
Part of that is living optimally, living as healthy as you can, being around for your friends and your family and your people, because who else are we going to serve if we're not healthy and able to do so?
Absolutely. Well, again, I can't say thank you enough, Ms. Carol, with Blueline Health, and the 10-0 ABO Kansas and Missouri state champion, John Ironman Cantrell. So thankful for you guys coming. We're going to take a quick break here on the Fanatic Sports Podcast. We'll be right back after a short break. thank y'all so much again for joining us. You're gonna
I
really
appreciate
enjoy
it. I
this.
really do. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your
Yes, thank
story.
you. Thank you.
Both of you. Thank you.
Y'all have a great one. Hey, I gotta tell you, man, that beat is hard, bro. That
Yeah,
beat is
it is.
hard. That's Arson with the Heat here on the Fanatic Sports Podcast. That is now our official Fanatic Sports theme song, and it's very, very dope song. Very, very dope beat.
Yes, it is.
And while we're here, we do have the Angry Puerto Rican. And as we come back, we might as well start with talking about our favorite salsa, the angry salsa from the
Yes.
Angry Puerto Rican.
Well, let's just let's just basically get into it. Look, we do appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Let's just say, look, uh, get ready to have your taste buds ignited by angry salsa. This isn't your ordinary salsa. All right. It's packed with flavor that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Whether you're cheering for your team or snacking while watching the game, angry salsa will add a spicy kick to your game day experience. Just hit me up, holler at me, and you can get yourself an angry salsa jar. You could be a happy angry customer.
A happy, angry customer that's literally my favorite thing. Man, so look, man, we
Man, that was incredible, man.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
I'm just taken aback. I'm on a high. Just get the chance to talk to him and hear his story, man. That's fantastic, man. And like you said, you called it too. You literally hit the nail on the head. You said it, man. Like his story is unique. His story is fantastic, and I'm so glad we get the opportunity to share it. Because there's so much, there's so many levels and so much depth to it that's freaking awesome.
No, it like I said, man, when he was talking about his kid, man, it kind of just it literally it hit me here, man, seriously, because there are a lot of kids that are unfortunate,
Yeah.
that are born with issues, and to be able to handle it the way he has, and his family being able to handle it is also incredible, man. So shout out
Yeah.
to John, man, for that, man. Thank you for sharing your story, John. Really.
Absolutely, man. And can't say thank you enough. And look forward to having him back and doing more talking with him, man. Uh,
Yeah,
right
because we definitely got
now,
to talk about his love for the Kansas City Royals and the Kansas City Chiefs.
look, man. Listen. I turned my whole desk today.
I see.
I turned my whole desk today, just because I got some homeboys with me, man. And so I think I might have told this story before. So I bought a new Steelers hat. Oh, this must have been probably 6 years ago, right? So I bought a new Steelers hat uh, for my trip to Kansas City to perform and do a show. And so when I'm on stage, I'm bad about turning my hat around. So it'll be up front, it'll be in the back, it'll be, man, if you let it, it'll be on the side, in my pocket, wherever. So I'm on stage and I'm doing my thing, and I'm looking at the crowd, and I'm not seeing, like, I'm not feeling what I was expecting to feel. And I know my song is hitting because I was actually doing a cover song. So like, and this is a hit cover song. And so I know the song, it normally pops. And so then I'm rapping. And I was like, all right, we'll just keep going through it. And I turned my hat around and I started getting a few heads bobbing. And I got a little more energy coming. And I started doing my song. And I was like, oh, maybe it's me. And I turned my hat back around. And all of a sudden, the energy's kind of gone. And so then I turned it around and it fell off. And I just said, don't worry about it. I'll get to it in a second. I'm just going. I'm rocking. And man, the crowd's just there now. And I got the whole crowd with me. And I realized it. Oh, they hate the Steelers. They hate the Steelers, man. And so and after the show is over, right? We go down. If you ever get a chance to go Kansas City, man, go to Westport and have yourself a time. So we're at Westport and we're out there hanging out, and this dude is, I mean, scummy drunk. God bless him wherever he's at, man. He came up to me and said, "Hey, bro, I love you, but F the Steelers." And I was like, "Oh, that's what it was. It was the hat." And he was like, "Yeah, you gotta get rid of that hat." I said, "Well, what if I tell you I'm a Royals fan?" He said, "Well, then I love you." Trump, bro, he was lit, man. But dude, when I tell you, man, we had a time. Love me some KC, bro. Love KC.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah, what you got?
Where's that hat at now? Please tell me it's burnt.
It's in my closet.
Where it needs to be.
Man, look, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. As much as in the name of good journalism, I must admit that I don't know if anybody's gonna beat the Chiefs, man. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, if their defense gets on point like it was last year, because the defense carried them like last year, they're gonna have trouble with their wide receivers again. And so they're gonna run the ball. And I mean, you got Kelsey and you got Mahomes. But like that's my only thing. I honestly feel like that when you look at, I was talking with somebody about this the other day. When you look at the AFC and the landscape of it, I'm not sold on the Bills. I definitely ain't sold on them now. You know, when you take away the good receivers and they got a whole new defensive backfield, and they pretty much starting over with their whole. I think their line is about the same, and then of course you got Josh Allen and the tight ends. But there's so many pieces that have moved off of them that I'm not sold on the Bills, right? The Ravens are going to challenge. I think the Ravens are going to win tomorrow night. I've got some money in my bet MGM, but I don't know if I'm gonna bet on it. But I think the Ravens are going to win tomorrow night, just like they did last year, and they're going to win in the regular season. And I think they're going to get to the playoffs, and I think it's going to be hard to beat Pat Mahomes in the playoffs.
I just see it as
let's start there.
I don't know. It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be a tough. It's definitely gonna be a tough game. For the Ravens to come in.
Yeah.
You're going against the defending Super Bowl champions. It's gonna be definitely tough to see. I'm just hoping that Lamar can be Lamar and do Lamar things, which we all know and accustomed to seeing. But I'd like to see what his wide receiver core is going to do against the Chiefs secondary. I'd love to see
Yeah.
what Zay Flowers does. He was a stud last year. And I think he's coming into his own and built chemistry with Jackson over the offseason. And it's gonna be great to see when you actually see it actually unfold, everything that they've worked to, and to see if they can actually get over that hump and beat Patrick, because Patrick's got his number. He's always has his number in the
Man,
playoffs, and I
listen,
don't know why.
so what it boils down to is that, and I think this is what's got me thinking about it was the basis behind my theory behind with quarterbacks. You look at a CJ Stroud versus like a Kenny Pickett or a Bryce Young or some of these other guys around here. And the fact of the matter is that Patrick Mahomes has he's made the plays. Everybody's got the ability at this level, I believe, but you got to make the plays. Kenny Pickett did make the plays. When, Jalen Hurts had an outstanding game, but there was in the Super Bowl, you look at Brock Purdy this past year, Jalen Hurts the year before that. These guys play good games, but you got to play great if you want the ring. And what it really boils down to is that Patrick Mahomes, you can count on him to make plays. Josh Allen, he did.
Yeah, but I can't but see, in that Super Bowl, and you got to look at it. So in that Super Bowl win against the 49ers this past one, I have to put credit where credit is due, and it has to go to the defense. That defense kind of held, those guys down. You had Deebo Samuels with only 40, I think under 40 yards. Kittle was a non-factor in the game.
He disappeared.
Yeah, so it's just I feel like their defense as you said, they came into their own. I think that's what helped them propel. It wasn't just the offense, because at first it was the defense. When Chris Jones came back, it was like, oh, okay, cool. What kind of Chris Jones are we gonna get? You haven't played with your team, and
so there was
what did he have?
Big questions.
The defense itself, honestly, I think the defense itself needs to get credit. Besides the offense, granted, we all want points and stuff, but I still remember those days of Ray Lewis's defense with the Ravens, and how they were just dominant with a barely known well quarterback in Trent Dilfer. Let's just put it this way.
Yeah.
And that's he just game managed. He game managed, and the defense just took over. And that's something that I say needs to just, I wish we can go back to that, man. I miss that defensive side of things.
Well, maybe you want to be a Steelers fan this year, because that's what it's going to look like for us.
Nah, I'm good on that, man. I'm good. I'm definitely good on that. I
owe $3.
Yes, you do. Yep.
So look, man, here's the deal. When I think about going into tomorrow night and start, we've been talking about week 1 for a while now. It's crazy. I was looking at that overlay. I've had that overlay made for like 2-3 weeks now. And so when you look at week 1, it's going to set the table. This game, the Lions versus the Rams, the Eagles, they start off with some legit playoff contenders. So this week's games is going to have some high implications on what happens 18, 19 weeks from now.
Right.
And I love that whoever the schedule maker is, high five to you, kudos to you.
No, they knew what they were doing. They
did a good job.
They're like, hey, we need the ratings to go off the roof, so that's what we're gonna do.
So look, here's one. You said it. I had already written it down as the one I was going to use, and then I had a backup in case you picked it. And sure is poop stinks. Here you go. You picked it, man. But this Lions versus Rams game, this is going to be a sneaky good game, right?
Oh yeah.
It can go one of two ways. One, the Lions are going to insert their dominance over the NFC. I don't know that they're going to win the conference championship, but I think we're going to see them back in the conference championship this year. I think they've got all the pieces. They're all young. They're not worried about money right now. All they're worried about is playing and winning and being good. And that's exactly what you got. And it all starts with right up front. You look at that offensive line, man. That offensive line is crazy good. They got 2 or 3 of the best young offensive linemen in the league for the next 3 to 5 years.
Right.
And so,
And then you you basically look at it. You put in, David Montgomery and Jahmyr
yeah,
Gibbs, and
yeah,
then that opens up that passing game.
yep.
And could you give credit to Dan Campbell for changing that organization around? Because man, if people said I'm gonna just say this: if you're a Meta Lions fan,
I know one, and I was just about to shout him out. His name is Chris Dotson, who's I don't know how he became a Lions fan. You know, we've been talking about our fandom. I got to get him on here so he can tell this story, because this is the craziest story I've ever heard.
I don't know many. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know any Lions fans.
There's
really
not
don't.
very many. That's why. There are now. There
Right.
are now. There weren't that many to begin with.
That's
for
the crazy
sure.
part, man. Dan Campbell changed that whole organization around, and to get golf at
Yeah.
back to an elite way. And a lot of people say, oh, what happened to him in against Los Angeles and things in the third, and it was like you swapped quarterbacks. It's the system.
Yeah,
It's a
you gotta
system.
learn it. You gotta learn it. And if you remember, Goff's first year under Jeff Fisher was horrible. They were calling him a bust. They were calling him a bust. He was the number 1 pick. They were calling him a bust. And so, that's a great segue into this Rams team, right? So the interesting thing about this Rams team is, one, you get Matt Stafford coming back to Detroit. I believe it's in Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. I'll check on that now.
I think it is.
I'm pretty sure it is. And so, but either way, you get the Rams and Lions together. So the coolest thing out of the story is that the Lions got their quarterback of the future by trading their former quarterback of the future. And you do right by Matt Stafford, get him to a contender, let him have an opportunity to win a ring. That's awesome, right? But you get Cooper Kupp. They didn't stumble, but the rest of the world was not aware of what Puka Nacua was doing.
I just think the injuries have kind of derailed what Cooper Kupp has and was able to do in general throughout his career.
Right.
Like, I mean, because you remember he broke that record. What did he have?
He's like,
he led the league in
2,000.
touchdowns, led the league in receiving and receptions.
Yeah, he was the triple crown winner.
Yeah,
we haven't seen that very many times. That's for sure.
No, and I think the injuries of Paul Don, I think he's going to be very complimentary to Puka Nacua. But
and he's being a good mentor for him too. So that's a win there. What's gonna be interesting to watch, and this is why the story could go one of two ways. So the Detroit defense is stellar, and they are growing. On the other side of the ball, obviously, you lose maybe the greatest defensive tackle he's the greatest defensive tackle of you and our time for sure. He might be the greatest defensive tackle of all time when it's all said and done. Like, this dude was a baller. Aaron Donald was unstoppable for so long, but he played 10 years, he won his ring, he did everything that he had to do, and you can't blame him for not wanting to be a part of what you would expect as a rebuilding process. But I don't know that the Rams are going to rebuild like that, because their defense is really, really good. They've got a young guy in Kobe Brown who he had 10 sacks last year, and then they went out and got Brandon Fisk and Jared Verse. And they've got Byron Young. They've got some players that if they all develop well, as I expect Sean McVay to help them develop, they're going to be good again in like 2 or 3 years, man. And
I just need to see what they do with their running back committee. On the defensive side, they definitely, you definitely cannot fill the shoes of an Aaron Donald at all.
Not
There's
with one
no
person.
way.
No.
So it's going to be a multiple. I see them doing what college does, in and out. We're not just gonna have a set group of just playing 50, 60 snaps. We're gonna have a bunch of guys interchanging, going back and forth. And I just think that's gonna help the Rams. I just don't see them. I don't see them beating the Lions tomorrow, and I don't see them winning the division at all.
Wow.
Okay. I don't.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think you're absolutely right. I believe that the Rams are probably going to finish second or third in the division because that division's loaded right now, right? You got the Niners who don't look old, but the truth of the matter is they've only got about 3 years left in their window.
Their
Brock Purdy
window
will
is
be there.
closing.
Brock Purdy will be there and he'll ball, but how good is Brock Purdy when you take away Debo, who's nearing 30, and Ayuk, who I believe already is 30, and C-Mac is 28, I believe. He's not 30 yet, but so they
But
got a
for
3 year
running
window
backs
left.
that age, though, for running
Yeah,
backs that age,
that's
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 technically
shelf
old.
life.
Yeah.
That's and let's be real. He's had some injuries already, anyways. So to think that he couldn't get hurt again is crazy. And I'll be honest with you, I did avoid him in my fantasy league. Well, he ended up going first in the league where I had the number 2 pick, anyways. So I didn't. So thankfully, I didn't have to deal with that pressure.
In my
But
league last night, somebody grabbed CeeDee Lamb as the second pick.
That's a table turner. That's a table turner. But that NFC West is it's loaded right now. You got to think that the Seahawks are going to beat some teams they're not supposed to beat. I'm interested to see what Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. can do. We know they're the bottom of the barrel, but they're still they got some good young pieces, and one more draft and they'll be competitive. But this Rams team is on their way up. They've got people in the right place. I wonder how long they can go with Matt Stafford. And as good as Stetson Bennett has been in the preseason the last 2 years, I don't see him as your long-term answer after Stafford retires. So they may have to, but you know what could probably happen, which would be really simple, is they go and they trade for or they sign Dak. And, because Dallas obviously is going to move on from him. So you sign Dak after Stafford retires, and now you've got your quarterback for another 3 or 4 years. Dak
Is
can play
Dak
for 3 or 4
really
years.
that good? Like, we really, like...
No, he's not. Again, it's like we talked about with Pat Mahomes. You got to make the plays, and he makes the plays during the regular season, but for whatever reason, when they turn the lights on in the playoffs, man, it just don't work out. And, hey, who knows? Because Sean McVay is an outstanding quarterback coach. So there may be something might click in the playoffs that didn't click with Dallas, and I wouldn't be shocked, and I would laugh my head off. God bless you, Blue. Love you. But yeah, I'd laugh till I cried or peed if I saw if that happened the way I think it would. So let me tell you about the last matchup we got for the pros, and we'll jump into college. We'll take a break and then jump into college. But the last matchup I wanted to look at is the Eagles versus the Packers. Again, we're 17 weeks into the future of we're going to look back at this game, and the winner of this game is going to have a playoff implication. It may affect who wins, who doesn't, and I feel like though that these are two teams that are going to win. I believe that the Eagles are going to win the NFC East. I believe that the Packers are going to take a wild card. We can start carving this thing out right now. And these two teams are going to be players that not only are in it for to be playoff hopefuls, but they can be contenders, especially for the Packers. If that defense can do anything, the offense is in a nice groove. They're not dominating, but they're in a nice groove. Now I got a buddy. Shout out my man James Jackson. James says that they're unguardable, is what he says about the Packers wide receivers. Tell me your thoughts about that.
I don't know about unguardable, but I don't know. I think giving Jordan Love the opportunity to play behind an Aaron Rodgers kind of helped him a lot.
Yeah.
It helped his maturity.
That's right.
And we got to see it last year. We had to see his maturity, and it was impressive to see. It really was. Just watching him and seeing, exactly what he did with that, with the way he was picking apart defenses, man. Like, just like, wow, okay, good. This guy's coming into his own. Like, I'm ready to lead this team. We're doing something.
Yeah.
I can actually see the Packers beating the Eagles tomorrow.
Huh.
And I'll tell you why. One, you got the Eagles the Eagles offense reminds me so much like the 49ers offense.
Mm-hmm.
They got a
Yeah.
dynamic running back, CMC,
Yep.
just like Saquon.
Yep.
When he's out in the open field, Saquon's you can't,
He's
you
a
basically
threat.
ain't stopping him.
He's
And then
a
you got two
threat.
wide receivers on the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they have a decent tight end and Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of just, it's similar to me. And the way the 49ers played in that Super Bowl just made me realize you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not prepared to play a good defense, and that's the thing, the Packers have a great defense.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And I see the Packers beating the Eagles tomorrow. I really do. I think it's going to be maybe 27-21.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think it might even be 31-28, man. Like, I think it's going to be a shootout. Like, I think it's going to be a shootout. I think that while the Packers defense is really good at rushing the passer, that's not as effective against a guy like Jalen Hurts. And especially when you give him a Saquon next to him you gotta think about how he runs the ball and how well he runs the ball.
If he's healthy, he's top 3.
Yeah, right. So I think this is going to be a shootout. I think this is going to go the distance, but I can see the Packers. I'm going to go with the Eagles, though. I'm going to take the Eagles 31-28. I think that they're going to, because they start off so well, and so I think they're going to come out of the gates fast. They'll beat a good Packers team, and that Packers team is gonna rebound. But this is gonna be a fun game to watch, and I'm thankful I get to watch it. So one of the interesting things, and I don't know how much this fact is true because I saw it on the internet, and we don't know if it's true. But the word
notice you just said it's on the internet.
Yeah, so there's a high possibility. But the word is that in this stadium at Sao Paulo, they don't allow green.
That's something I want to look at now.
Okay. Look, you can look. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna tell you guys about my favorite car salesperson, Leticia Talamontes. And while I'm doing that, and you look it up, tell me what you think. When we come back from break, let me know what you think. So look, guys, listen, if you're in the need for upgrading your ride, right? Because it's that time, gas is starting to be a thing. And it's time for everybody to upgrade their ride. And if you're needing to do that, or if you just need another whip to get into, you're in luck. Because I got the inside scoop on the best car salesperson in the whole South. That's Leticia Talamontes at Astro Ford in D'Iberville. She's the go-to person for all your car buying needs. Whether you're in the market for a sleek sedan or a reliable SUV, Leticia's got you covered. She's got a friendly smile, expert knowledge. She'll make sure that you drive off the lot in style. So why wait? Head on down to Astro Ford and ask for Leticia. You'll be glad you did. Or you can give her a call at 228-275-FORD. That's 228-275-3673. Or you can stop by at 10350 Auto Mall Parkway in D'Iberville. It's worth the drive to go see Leticia Talamontes at Astro Ford in D'Iberville today. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Go there today. So we're going to take a quick break here on the Fanatic Sports Podcast. Thank y'all so much for joining us. We've had a blast already. We're going to talk a little bit of college football when we get back. But I'm Blanca for the Angry Puerto Rican. We'll be right back on the Fanatic Sports Podcast. I'm just talking and my mic is muted. Listen, I can't say thank you enough again to Arson with the heat for the Fanatic Sports theme song. Very, very dope theme song. And we're excited to have some of our partners, man. One of the really cool ones is Arkansas Premier Paralegal. Arkansas Premier Paralegal is an independent contractor located in Northwest Arkansas. They specialize in divorce, expungement, unlawful detainers, and criminal defense. They provide negotiable pricing for both private attorneys and to the general public. So with over 10 years of experience, they're definitely capable of assisting with your legal needs in a professional and courteous manner. So if you're in Northwest Arkansas or in Arkansas, period, call the Arkansas Premier Paralegal at 479-684-6248, or you can search them up on Facebook, Arkansas Premier Paralegal, for more information. That's Arkansas Premier Paralegal. Very, very excited to have our partners here. And this is one of your the connects that you made, man, and we're very, very happy to have them. Thank you to all our partners.
Yeah,
very
without
excited.
y'all, we don't have anything in between. So we appreciate everything, man. We appreciate y'all.
For real. Definitely for real. So look, man, I want to get into college football, but before I do, did you find it?
Yes, it's not true because the Packers will wear green.
Okay.
I read it and they were saying that there's this misinformation that they can't wear green, and that's not true. The Eagles are going with their white and black uniforms. The Packers are going with their green.
Okay. All right. I'm fine with that. So look, man, I want to get into college football a little bit. I want to talk about a couple different matchups, but before we talk about that, I need your help, man. So the top 25, this is supposed to be the top 25 teams in the country. Now, I understand that a lot of that is based off of how we finished in the season last year, and a lot of that is different because of the people that change, and the rosters that you put together in January, in December and January are definitely not the ones that you're going to see now in August. But come on, man, you're supposed to be one of the best 10 teams in the country, and you can't beat Georgia Tech nor Boston College. What's going on here, man? What's going on here?
Look, I say it, and I say it all the time. Preseason ranks are horrible. I think it is a detriment to a player's mentality, and I don't think that team in Florida State, I don't think they are capable of winning a game. Look, I don't think they're capable. It's insane.
If you remember last week, we sat here and we sang the praises of DJ Uiagalelei and how we thought he could be special and he could fit in well with this program, man. What are we doing here? He's got us looking like fools, bro.
Yeah, completely.
Do we know what we're talking about?
I mean, on paper and you see it, he can play, but man, I don't know. I just don't know what this team is thinking of, man. You're ranked number 10. You've lost week 0 to Georgia Tech, and you lost to Boston College, who's not even a ranked team. Hasn't been ranked in years.
Well, what it looked like to me, and we look at this. We look at the quarterback as we're looking at the highlights from Boston College versus Florida State. And it was the same thing if you got a chance to go back and check out the highlights last week versus Georgia Tech. I think the key to this, and this is the thing going around, by the way, is that you got to be able to stop the run. Okay, and as we see, was it Castellanos? I forgot the quarterback's name that runs in here. You got to be able to stop the run, and there's no linebacker flow. There's no the D tackles are just getting, they're not holding any linemen, so the linemen are.
Oh no, they're getting beat off the line quick.
It's like, so the question I have to ask is, with the defensive line and the defensive coordinator, what are y'all doing? And now I'll tell you, DJ played bad this game. He did not have a very good game. He missed on a lot of people. And, I mean, you're looking at – I mean, look at some of the highlights, man. The running backs not even catching the ball clearly. The receivers aren't – it's not like the – Boston College isn't going to come out and be world beaters, right? Like, remember year when Colorado beat TCU? And, yes, TCU wasn't as good as they were the year before. But as it turned out, Colorado actually was just a good team. No. I don't think Boston College is going to be that decent. I don't think that Georgia Tech is going to be that decent, bro. In my estimations, I believe that we're looking at a bad Florida State team. I'm sure they're going to beat somebody. I would suspect they got too much talent not to. But this is not a good look.
I don't think I give them 4 games, maybe. The way they're playing, they don't even look interested in playing.
I mean, it seems like these kids got their NIL and said, "I'm good." That's what it looks like. That's what it feels like. And you know, I hate to speculate because these kids have to work hard. You have to work hard every day. You don't get the option to not work hard.
Oh, I do. I speaking of college football, I want to go ahead and shout this out. Want to go ahead and say this. I lost to the Razorbacks last night. Blanca was playing, and we made a little friendly bet. And I'll have to say it. This makes me cringe, but I have to say it.
Who's the best team in the NBA?
The best team in the NBA is the Los Angeles Clippers.
You hear that, Blue? It's the Clippers.
Look, man.
No, look, and here's the deal. I didn't post it anywhere for everybody to see. It's just on my private YouTube page. I did video it, but I didn't tell everybody, and that's okay. That's not that big of a deal. But this is a great segue because I do want to talk about the Razorbacks. So let me just say, I don't care who we scored 70 points on. It could be the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. It could be the University of Arkansas Little Rock. It can be the University of the Sisters of the Poor. Don't none of that matter to me. We scored 70 points because you remember when we lost to ULM.
Yeah.
And you remember when we lost to Louisiana Lafayette. And you remember when we lost to Western Kentucky. And I can keep going. We've got a history of doing this. So we beat the team we were supposed to beat the way we were supposed to beat them. Cool. I'll take that all day and tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
This Arkansas versus Oklahoma State matchup, though, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's gonna be one. That's gonna be one because
it's gonna be. Look, let's just put it this way. I'm looking at the point spread. The over and under is set at 60.5 right now.
Yeah. I saw it all the way up to 62.5 on ESPN, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's kind of enticing. But at the end of the day, the thing you got to know is the one thing we know about Oklahoma State, or from what I've seen in watching a little bit of their games last week, yeah, they're gonna ride Ollie Gordon II they're gonna ride him till his legs are nubs. And
T-Boom Pickens State.
It was all Ollie Gordon last week against South Dakota State. And so but the dude is big. Here's the thing. I was looking at his they were showing him, like, I think in a side interview or something like that. Bro, it looked like they put my legs on your waist. I ain't never seen a man this big like that at 6'1", 215, but he can run. I'm talking about he can run, bro.
He's top 3 running back in the nation.
And not only can he run, he's great in the pass as well. So he can catch the ball and he can run a short screen or a short, flat route or out route to something scary, man. The dude can play some ball. They even brought up shades of him. Look at him go. They brought up shades of him. They brought up Thurman Thomas, one great Oklahoma State running back, and the other great Oklahoma State running back, Barry Sanders.
Right.
He talked about it. The way he scored, his scoring output was close. because Barry's got the record, 37 touchdowns passing and catching, and running, but running and catching. But bro, listen, man, we've got to find a way, and so everything's all built off of Ollie Gordon too. The defense.
I still think though. I still think, and it does go with Gordon. He's going to be the workhorse for Oklahoma State. But I think one thing that's going to be a true test is for them is to actually see what our defensive line can stack up against the Oklahoma State's offensive line. Because they are the most experienced offensive line in the country.
That's
and
right.
Let's just say Landon Jackson's one of those guys that I can say will have a really great game. I think this is going to see what he can do.
Mr. All-American.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what, met him.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
Tell
this story, please.
Man,
well, wait, is it a good story that we can is PG-13?
It's PG.
Okay, all right, great.
Yeah, man, we were at Chewy's and we were at Chewy's and people were fanning over him and
of course.
Like, oh my God, that's Landon Jackson. And I'm just like, okay, like he's human. Like we bring up this again. He's a human being. So it's a party of like 28 to 30. It's a party of 15 on one side and a party on the other, right? And he's paying for him and his mom are paying for everything, right?
That's dope.
And their tab's like $400 or $500. I'm slinging drinks to them left and right, here. They're having a great time, man. I'm talking about like they're just having a great time. And my coworkers are coming left and right, and they're like, "Oh, it's Landon. Yeah, I wonder if I should go up to him." And I had to tell them, "It's like, hey guys, can y'all just leave? Let the man like eat in peace and be with his family." Like, so at the end. I told him, I was like, "Hey man, you kind of look like me, man." I said, "Could you stand up for a second?" So he stands up, man, and I'm like this.
Math.
Hey, you mind going down a little bit, man, so you get on my level? But he appreciated one thing that he appreciated the fact that I did not fan over him. I just respected him as a human being, and he thanked me for that. He's like, "Thank you for treating me like a person and not just some guy who plays for the Razorbacks." And I said, "Man, that's my job. My job is to always be professional in that way." And I learned that from I used to work at this place in New York called Mustang Grill. Okay, all right, this is where Alex Rodriguez used to go. Roger Clemens used to go. Okay, these were and I got to see Alex Rodriguez after he hit his historic 3 home run, 10 RBI game.
Oh yeah.
And he shows up, and this guy is like, fanning over him, and I'm serving him. Like I'm literally serving him. And the guy's got a Yankee Alex Rodriguez jersey on, and he goes up to him, and this is where I kind of got the idea of like. You see someone that's famous, don't go fanning over them, man. Treat them with respect, like don't go, oh my God, Right. And I got to see this guy come from the bar. He's drunk. And he basically goes up to him and says, "Hey man, is there any way I could buy you a drink?" And Alex is like, "No, I'm sorry. I don't take random gifts from people. I'm sorry, but thank you for being a fan. I appreciate it." Just typical Alex.
Yeah.
And he's there with his agent and his wife at the time. They're eating. And the guy orders a steak, whatever, midway through the meal, guy comes up. He goes, "Man, I do apologize for coming up to you. Is there any way I can shake your hand?" And Alex is still eating his meal. And he's like, "Look, sir, first off, I'm eating my meal. Second," and now mind you, he's got his security too. Right. And his security steps up and he's like, "I just want to shake your hand." Nice. Yes, they're being very respectful. Very nice. And they're like, "Look, man, Mr. Rodriguez is not in the mood right now. He's trying to eat and have, dinner." Guy goes up to him and tries to shake. He was like, "Can I shake your hand?" And Alex looks at him and goes, "I'm sorry, I don't know where your hands have been. And I'm also eating." So the guy takes the jersey off, goes out to the front and starts urinating on this jersey.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Man. One of the most craziest, insane stories I've ever had. Roger Clemens was just there with his wife. I got him to sign an autographed piece of paper that I gave to a longtime Yankee fan. Don't know if that thing still exists after the turmoil with Roger Clemens and all of that. But Yeah, I just tell people, man, look, man, if you see
That
somebody out there that's famous, a celebrity, let them be
this
human.
there, let them eat, let them be human, man. I can't echo that enough. And so in security, I've spent a lot of time around celebrities, and one of the things I do is I if I do talk to them, it's certainly in a respectful but kind of playful tone. I want them to know that they can relax and be comfortable around me. I'm not going to blow them out of proportion, things like that. I'm gonna let them live and enjoy their moment, and so that's one of the things I definitely always try to do. Give them that opportunity.
Yeah.
Give them that opportunity because it's rare that when you get to that level that you get the opportunity to be just normal and enjoy a regular meal.
Well, and
Um,
the crazy thing too is, man, like just meeting Landon.
yeah,
Like when I worked at Cracker Barrel.
yeah,
I worked at Cracker Barrel. Dre Greenlaw comes, he's playing for the 49ers. This is when Trey Lance was supposed to be the starter.
yeah.
I'm serving him. I'm serving him. I go up to him. I'm like, hey, I'm Tony. I'll be taking care of you. What can I get you? He's there with his family. They're going through the motions, and everybody's like, the kids are like these parents are like sending kids over to him, like
Mm.
to take pictures. And I'm like, I get he did, but it was like after he ate, like he's getting ready to leave, and they're like, the parents didn't even know who these people, who he was. And so they asked me, they're like, hey, we noticed that you're serving him. Who is that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's Dre Greenlaw. He's the starting linebacker for the San Francisco 49ers, who used to play here at Arkansas. They
Right.
didn't have no idea. They go up to him and be like, hey, our kids are big fans. This is the third. And I'm like, you didn't even know
Big
this guy.
fans, huh?
Yeah.
Big
Right.
fans.
But they go and
Big
take
fans.
pictures. And it's just certain things, man. Like, like when you go and see Ronnie and stuff like that, man. Like you see Ronnie
Yeah.
Brewer and you're like, hey man, what's up, man? And I let him be, man. I don't you
Yeah,
don't
definitely. That's how me and Ronnie became friends. Is that he would appreciated that I wasn't all in his face, and not only was I not all in his face, but I kept a lot of girls out of his face that were gonna bother at him because he was focusing on his work and being a good student athlete. And
yeah.
and
I'm just saying, man.
don't laugh because then they won't believe me. So I kept a lot of girls out of his face, but
But I'm just saying, like, I just for all the viewers out there that are watching, look, man, please just let celebrities and people be human. Let them
let
live
them
and
be
enjoy
human,
their life.
please.
You don't always like that one guy who LeBron James is in Paris and you
Yeah,
see
that
him and the
kid.
guy's getting
Yeah,
close to him and people all over the internet got onto LeBron. I'm like, he's a human being.
he wants to
Leave him
spend some time
alone.
with his girl. So I mean, and yes, he was going to go party, and he probably had been drinking, and this wasn't a good time. Like I get it. Like I know me personally, it got Lord forbid if this podcast ever get that popular and somebody gets in my face, boy. Like because if I'm out, I might be drinking or I might be just trying to have some me time and disconnect from whatever, and I don't want everybody in my face while that's happening. And
Yeah.
and it stinks when you can't be out in public. Like he's in Paris with his wife. Come on, man. Like I want to enjoy Paris with my wife. Please don't make me have to work right now. Because yeah, it's a picture to you, and yeah, it's fun to you. This is work for LeBron. I gotta take a picture and smile and be this person online. I just want to be me for a little bit. Please give me a little bit. Please stop.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit. I absolutely agree, man. You're definitely not wrong. So look, man.
But to go back to what you were saying though, real quick, man, to go back to what you're saying, I think the Landon Jackson, I can't believe we got sidetracked like that, but that's something that we always do here. We get sidetracked, but we always go back to the topic. I think in order for us to beat Oklahoma State, we have to dominate that front line. We
Yeah.
have to dominate. We
Yeah.
have to get off
Yeah.
that ball really quick, and we got to apply pressure, and we got to smack Gordon in the mouth quick, hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like make him realize, hey, I don't know if I want to run up the middle anymore. Just give me some passes out.
Yeah.
Give me some
Swing passes.
some swing passes outside on the flat real quick. I don't want to mess with that line.
And we
So
gotta constant pressure in his face, man, every day. And you gotta almost treat him like quarterback. And because the thing about Ollie Gordon is that he's going to they're going to play action off of him, and that's going to leave some really good receivers one-on-one with our D-backs. And I trust our D-backs, but yeah, sometimes you don't want to be one-on-one no matter who you are. Dion didn't
Right.
like being one-on-one, you know what I mean? So that's just got to be the way we got to handle it, and we got to have our offense has got to sustain plays. One of the things I love about the game of football is you can do a lot of things right, 1 or 2 downs, but those third downs you got to get off the field, and our offensive third downs we got to stay on the field. So you got to be on time, and you got to do things right to take care of third downs the way you're supposed to. So
what do you think at the end of the game? What do you think as a journalist? What do you think the storyline is going to say?
Well, I think that it's going to be about how the Razorbacks contained. I think that Ollie Gordon is still going to do his thing, and he's going to rush for maybe 120 yards and 2 touchdowns or what have you. But I believe that at the end of the day, you're going to see the playmaking and how good our offense is. I believe that one of the things I know about Bobby Petrino, he's not a very popular guy amongst the recruiting trail, and a lot of people are still not excited about him coming to talk to their kids. And I know a lot of former players that did not have great things to say about him. But at the end of the day, what they could say was that he was efficient and he taught well. And so,
but here's my thing, though, and this all goes down to what people don't understand: growth and maturity. Man, he was in 3 different, wasn't he 3 or 4 different programs?
Yeah,
and his last stint was Missouri, wasn't it?
Missouri State. Yeah, I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's when everybody, came to the stadium with a neck brace. I remember.
And listen, and they came out and they were very efficient offensively against us.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like it's growth and maturity. So yeah, granted, the man did what he did in the past. That's fine.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me people can't change. Like that's the thing that I wish people would understand about him. Look, man, he's great for our program. Obviously, you see he didn't let up when it was 63-0. He was like, no, I want you to go and you're going to score this touchdown.
Absolutely.
And Pittman and even Sam even said it. It's good for him to actually know he was able to do that. So it's great to see Bobby, as our offensive coordinator calling all those plays. And our plays you can see a difference in his play calling compared to what our last year's play calling was.
Absolutely. It's dynamic. And that's the one thing and that's exactly what I wanted, the point I wanted to get to about Bobby Petrino. Offensively, he's going to put the type of pressure on the opposing defense to where so the funny thing is he's going to put that pressure on the other offense that you've got to score because Bobby's going to score. Bobby's going to get you a bucket, man. That's one thing you can count on. So you got to go get I
thought that stat was wild, by the way.
Monte Harrison.
Yeah, I thought that was wild.
Yeah. He's a big, strong man. He's 28 or so, I think, somewhere in there. Big, strong man. 6'3", like 220. He ain't skinny. He's a big man. And look, here's the thing. And if you can get him in the slot, because I think he ended up with like 3 catches and 30 or 40 yards, something like that. You get a big, strong body that can run in the slot like that. That's going to be special. Speaking of special, right? We got another matchup that I believe is going to be as Jim Ross would say, a barn burner. This Texas versus Michigan game. So outside of the Razorbacks and Oklahoma State, there's not a lot of like top 10 or top 25 matchups where they go one-on-one like that. I did want to talk about make a wild prediction that I think that Iowa State's going to beat Iowa. Iowa's ranked number 21. And Iowa State's got some pieces, including they got a couple linebackers and a safety that can really do some damage to your defense. And offensively, because I don't think that Iowa's it's going to be 13-10, because both of these defenses are really good, but Iowa's offense really they really are going to have to play well to come up big. But I think that Iowa State's going to win. But I am sold on this Michigan versus Texas game. Number 3 versus number 10. And it had been great for the number 10 team so far this season. But I'm willing to think that Michigan's going to be a little bit better than what Florida State has been.
But just to put it this way, Michigan hasn't faced a Texas team like this before. Michigan State, let's just put it this way, Michigan has not faced a team like this in Texas, and it's hard for me to predict it, but I think Texas beats them by at least two or three touchdowns.
Well, okay, so the one thing that I think Michigan's got going is that this game is in the big house. Is in Ann Arbor, and that's not a guarantee, obviously, but the Michigan faithful, Blue is gonna have his jersey on. He's gonna be rocking and rolling.
Facts.
And Quentin Ewers is really good, and they've got some play pieces. Isaiah Bond, I believe his name is, that came over from Alabama. And some of those guys, it's gonna be again. I think it's gonna be a barn burner, bro. I think it's going to be a big time back and forth, make some plays.
It's gonna be exciting for sure. I tell you that.
If Michigan gets that run game going, they got. So obviously we know about Donovan Edwards, but also there's a guy there named Khalil Mullins, who actually led the team in rushing this past week. He had like 10 carries for 95 yards. So if you're doing the math, that's 9.5 yards per carry. That is absurd. So
that's chunks of yardage.
It was against Fresno State, but the yardage remains, and I believe that Michigan pulls this one out overtime, 3 overtimes, 30, 38, 36, or something crazy like that is the way I'm seeing this for Michigan versus Texas. But it's gonna be a barn burner. I have no doubt in my mind. It's gonna be a fun game to watch.
I'll tell you, it definitely is going to be fun to watch, especially with it being in Ann Arbor. The fans are going to be loud. The crowd's going to be insane. I'm glad football's back. That's all I can say. I'm glad that now we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's 5 days of football. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's go.
No doubt, man. I love it.
I'll tell you a sleeper team. It's a sleeper game that I think people are going to miss. It's already going to be exciting just in general, but it's still a sleeper game that people don't think is going to be exciting. And I think that Colorado and Nebraska game is going to be really good.
Oh, that's going to be a beauty. And you know what? They're playing in Nebraska this year. And Colorado's got something to prove. And I think they're going to go out and make an effort to prove it.
Can we just say that Travis Henry though, or it is Travis Henry, right? Yeah,
Travis. Hunter.
Let's just say can he because I don't know. He's been doing it his whole career, but can he sustain pulling double duty?
I can't say for sure. I think
can you see him going into the NFL and playing double duty doing this? It's either you're going to be a cornerback or you be a receiver.
Yeah, nobody's going and play both sides and being really good at both sides.
Because it just reminds me of what's his name? He played for your team a long time ago, man. Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, Cordell.
He was your quarterback and then went out to be a receiver.
And being a receiver, and ironically, he went to Colorado too. Imagine that.
That's why I brought him up.
Yeah, but
I think it's gonna be a great game, man. I want to see what they do against a bigger team.
Yeah,
Nebraska's a bigger team than they are.
I also want to see what they do. What that young quarterback, Dominic, I think it's Raiola or something like that. The kid, they call him Mini Patrick Mahomes. He's got the whole swag. He's got his hair cut like him. He wears the glasses. He wears number 15. Like he wants to be Patrick Mahomes.
Well, and his popularity came, and I ain't gonna lie to you, his popularity came from let's just say the fact that he said he could throw the ball better than Pat Mahomes in an NFL flag football or the flag football that's going to be in the Olympics. So that's where he got all his talk from.
Yeah, and so I'm interested to see how that. I'm interested to see these two quarterbacks duel it out. Shedeur is a seasoned veteran at this point, and he operates the offense like one. I mean, like, did you have any question when they got the ball and they were going back down? Were you worried that it might be anybody else? That he wasn't gonna go out and ball and do his thing and get the job done. I said it that North Dakota State was gonna be a closer game than most folks thought, but I knew that Colorado could come out and get the job done. Defensively, they still got a lot to do. I thought that Shiloh was a better safety than what he's shown this past week, and I think maybe he will, because again, that's a season championship culture. They've been winning rings for a minute, so but maybe we'll see a better version of Shiloh. That's what I'm hoping for. Defensively, they got some stuff. Offensively, they got the weapons. They got the pieces. Colorado. So I'm gonna pick Colorado in that game. I might actually bet on Colorado. Depending on what the take is. You say no? You stay as far away from it as you can.
Yeah, I'm staying far away from that, man.
Well, look, man. While you're doing that, man, we got one more partner. We definitely got to shout out. I mean, we got to get out of here. It's been a well spent 2 hours, man.
Yeah, it has, man.
Let me say thank you to Miss Carol Roberts and Blueline Health and the heavyweight champ John Cantrell with an awesome story and even awesomer right hook. But it's super, super cool. And hey, man, look, we got some special things going next week as well. Going into the week, if it all goes according to plan, we're looking at next week having my good friend and yours, Bernard Oliver, from Straight Right Boxing. So more boxing coming up, and I definitely got to get a shout out. He sent me a quick message earlier when we got done talking to John and Miss Carol. But No Soul said, "What's up, man?" And he was proud of what we're doing. We definitely got to get him on.
Yeah, we definitely got to get his expertise on, on his boxing, because I told him one of the things we like to say is that we have some angry takes on here. So and I'm gonna say this, and I want people to understand this. He talked about yesterday. We talked a little bit yesterday about some of his boxing influences and who he thought is top 3, and Mike Tyson's the GOAT, and this and the third. You know who I said was the GOAT?
Mike Tyson's the GOAT.
Oh, he also had another one that was the GOAT too. Sugar Ray.
All right, now Sugar Ray Robinson is a bad man.
Okay, so he said that, but you know who I said that was a GOAT?
Okay.
Best defensive boxer in the world. Floyd Money Mayweather. That's the GOAT. All right, that's my angry take right there. No, so I hope you see this. I told you I was going to say it.
I'll say this, right? So first and foremost, I need to say that this angry take is brought to you by Mr. Detail. Mr. Detail for all your detail needs. Are you tired of seeing dirt and grime on your vehicle? Let Mr. Detail visit you, all right? Mr. Detail is the top-notch detail company. They'll leave your car sparkling like new, whether it's a full exterior wash, interior vacuuming, or premium waxing. Mr. Detail's got you covered. With their expert staff and top-of-the-line products, you can trust that their vehicle will receive the best care possible. So don't settle for a dirty car any longer. Call Mr. Detail today. 479-283-1636. That's 479-283-1636. Call Mr. Detail and don't worry about nothing. The Mr. Detail hot take of the day is that Floyd Mayweather is the greatest boxer of all time. Let me tell you why I agree with you. Is because
whoa, you agree?
This will be a rare opportunity. Now I can't put Mike over Muhammad. But the reason why I feel like that that Floyd is the top of the game is because he had a God-given ability to miss a punch. You throw a punch, he missed it. I was putting together John's highlight reel, and I wanted to make sure that I noted that, you know, there were some spots in there where he had folks just throwing at ghosts. And you know, this is on the heavyweight level. Floyd was making them small, skinny kids miss. And then he would pop, throwing things back at him. The way he made people miss punches and barely ever being knocked down and just some of the stuff. And yes, he was obnoxious at times. I will admit. I will say as a fan that the money team was very obnoxious. But Pretty Boy Floyd, for those of us that get to go all the way back into boxing, Pretty Boy Floyd was a bad man. Pretty Boy Floyd was knocking folks out, and he was winning on the cards. So, like, he was winning on the cards, and when you start thinking, oh, I got to knock him out, he'll make you miss, and then, wow, next thing you know, what John say, where am I? So, yo, man, look, I got to tell you, that's a big deal, man. I'll agree with you there. That Money Mayweather is a bad man. His out of the ring stuff was bad. I didn't like that. And if you wanted to argue that Muhammad was more of a GOAT because of that, I'll agree with you there. But when I think about in ring, and by the way, schedule says it all. And if you say, okay, well, he cherry picked, so did Mike Tyson. Some of them soup cans he was knocking out early in his career. Look, man, and when he went up against a real boxer, we saw what a real boxer did to him. So, you know, there's something to it. But look, I love Sweet Science, and we can talk that all day. But we need to get out of here.
As long as the ears are intact, we good.
Yeah. Well, look, man, we appreciate everybody that's joined us. You know, I was worried when I was looking at that eye in the top corner saying that I was at a 0. There's something going on with the connection between my social medias, but my mama was watching, Noso was watching, a lot of people were watching, man. So for, you know, everybody that joined us, looking forward to another very, very awesome episode next week talking about boxing. And hopefully we'll be talking about the great games that were week 1 and going into the great games that'll be week 2 and a Steelers win and a Commanders win and
we need a Razorback win.
We definitely got a Razorback win. I'm calling that one. I might bet on that one too. I got $12. I'm gonna put it towards big use. But look,
just real quick, man. That Colorado, Nebraska. Just looked it up. Nebraska's favored by 7.5.
Oh, because they're at home. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take.
That's why I said I don't know. That's why I don't know. I don't see Colorado. I just don't see it. I don't see Colorado.
I don't think they're gonna win, but I think they're gonna. I think it's gonna be.
You think they'll cover the spread?
I think it'll be inside of. It's gonna be less than a touchdown for sure, no doubt about that. I think it's gonna go into overtime and it's gonna be 2-3 points. So, look, I'm all for it. Well, look, man, for the angry Puerto Rican Anthony Roman, I'm Blocker. We certainly thank y'all so much for joining us. Check us out again. Check out the old the on-demand stuff as well as our TikTok, our Instagram, our Facebook, YouTube. Look, we'll send you a Fanatic Sports Pod pigeon if you need it, whatever to get it to you. We're so happy to have you here. I'm Blocker Mitchell. Be safe. God bless you.